Welcome to another episode of my story. We're doing part 2 of the Mike and Alison Arlow story. So today, we're so pleased to have the husband, Michael Arlow, on the couch with his wife, telling his part of his story. Mike, you're the first male to be on the couch of my story.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Tirana, for trusting us with your space.
And thank you for accepting the invitation, Mike. I know the ride has been hard and challenging. And of course, I know you as a young boy at school with one of my children. So we come on a long way. And then obviously we're in the same church together. You were in full-time ministry. But I have this memory of you being a swimmer, an athlete, being on top of your game, getting good feedback, not only from my children, but from your parents, and just watching your social media update on your swimming career. And that didn't last forever.
No.
And your beautiful wife was on the previous episode telling her version. Today we're going to hear your story, your version of the challenges of being a newly married man and a new husband to this beautiful blonde at your side.
Beautiful indeed.
Go for it. Tell us your story.
That's true. Beautiful indeed. And Tirana, you won't believe that building up to the wedding, obviously we had these dreams and these thoughts, and we would sit and go out for coffees and plan stuff and get so excited about what we're going to do and our timeline. And we loved planning our wedding. We enjoyed every minute of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we just really thrived in doing that. And when Ali walked down the aisle on the day we got married, I was...
Did you cry?
Bad. Ugly cry. Ugly
Trane.
cry. I couldn't even cry like they do in the movies.
I love it when a man cries.
It's like a bad cry. And she came down the aisle and we were able to say our vows to each other. And like you said in the last episode, one of the things that we promised was through sickness and health. And Alien obviously knew when we started dating, it was around 2016. And I already had some issues at that stage. And she was aware of it. But because there were more good days than bad, we thought, oh, we're probably going to be able to get through this. This is fine.
And Michael, if I stop you there, you're dating. So you're not living together.
Exactly.
So you see each other for a time. You're planning this wedding, you're courting, and then you go home to your home and you say goodbye.
Exactly.
Now,
so she doesn't always see that as well. And then we get married, and all of a sudden in the same home, there's me, and I'm just sort of debilitated by every now and then by certain things. And for those who didn't watch the previous episode, I have had chronic nerve damage around my heart that basically just caused debilitating pain every single time I either breathed, so my lungs expanded, or every time my heart beats. And obviously that does it quite a lot every minute. So every single time that happened, it would cause pain. And I remember, getting married, and after 6 months, we were actually staying at her folks' place. I remember it clearly. We were busy house sitting for them, and we had a conference on at the church. And I remember that morning saying to my pastor, unfortunately, I can't come in. Like, the pain is worse than it normally is. And I would normally be off for about a day or two a week. And from that moment was the first day of 2 years of being stuck in bed, completely bedridden, unable to do anything. All the people that I was talking to, mentoring, helping, I couldn't do that. My full-time ministry, I wasn't able to help the ministry at all. And worst of all, on top of this, I'm the man in our house, and there's my wife who now has to do things or lead things that I can't. I mean, I remember a time that the pain was so bad that I collapsed on the floor in our bedroom and I couldn't move. And I'm a big guy, and my wife had to try and pick me up, try to get me onto the bed, and I can't move. And she just says to me, I'll rush to the chemist quickly. It's 11 o'clock at night, so only one that's open is M-Chem. Let's rush down Durban Road, let's get you some medicine or whatever. By the time she gets back to me, she's trying to help me. There were times that the medication that we took was so strong that I would stop breathing. And during that period of time, Ali didn't sleep. So a lot of people don't know that, but she used to lie awake at night and put her hand in front of my mouth to see if I was still breathing, because I was on such high dosages of medicine that it would normally stop your breathing and then you could die. So she would have a couple of days where she literally wouldn't sleep because she was so scared that I was going to die or not be able to do anything. And the amount of times that I did or tried to be the man of the house, but fell short. I don't even want to say it's an ego thing. It's more of I have a desire to be the man in the house.
And it's your God-given right.
Yeah.
And I'm lying in bed and I'm hearing Ali lock the front door. I'm hearing her check the sliding door. I'm hearing her putting off the lights and thinking, I should be doing this. This is sort of my role, in all of this. But there Ali is, and she comes into the room with a smile on her face. And the sucky part of this was also that where I used to lie in bed, she would lie on my chest and we would cuddle. But the pain made it so that she couldn't touch me. So it was so bad that Ali used to cuddle on my chest. And the pain was so bad that Ali couldn't touch me. So we're a young couple, newly married. Our love life is already drastically affected, where we should be enjoying each other. I'm unable to do sort of anything, let alone another physical activity. We couldn't do anything. So the least sort of physical contact would be Ali lying on my chest. And as she would put her head there, the pain would just shoot to a 10 out of 10. And I would say, please get off. So she couldn't even be comforted or cuddled. And one of her love languages
is touch.
Yeah.
So not being able to do
and yours
that.
as well.
I mean, do you remember when you tried to lie? I mean, you couldn't.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's what feeds both of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just being able to hold each other and touch each other, and it's something that we didn't have. So we kind of had to, get another
work
lover.
around
Yes.
certain issues.
And-
And then, of course, you feel as a young wife an element of rejection,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and think, how can I love this man? Or how can we love each other differently?
You know what?
Yes.
I must say one thing though, Tiranda. In all of this, Alison has a tattoo on her arm that says grace upon grace. And one of the things that God did in this season was he gave us the grace to get through it.
Yeah.
And he gave her so much grace because there were times that I sat her down and I said to her, we have no idea what this is.
And where this is going.
And where this is going. We've been to 13 doctors, we're in so much debt, and I'm still not able to get better. You didn't sign up for this. Here's a way out. And every time we had that conversation, it ended up with Ali saying, no, I'm here. I'm for this. We're in this. And this is our life. And that's so be it. We'll keep going. But having her on my side to do that, I had moments, for example, when I was having an operation done, I'm lying in the bed and I know she's sitting in the waiting room and she can't come in. She has to wait for ICU visiting hours. So she's sitting there for hours by herself, trying to work, getting a little bit of the food from the cafe, just so she can come in for 20 minutes before I fall asleep to just see if I'm okay. And all of that sort of like, if I'm honest, it feels like a bit of a burden because I feel guilty that I'm putting her through this.
Yes.
And I feel bad that she has to now endure this. I realize that this is my lot, but I don't want it to be hers. I love her so much that I want to sort of let her go so that she doesn't have to go through it.
Michael,
Yet
what a
every
statement.
single time she grabbed me, held my hand, and she said, if God is for us, who can be against us? If he is for us, who can be against us?
Yes.
And I held on to a verse. Actually, this is why I got this tattoo on my hand. Every time I'd look at it, it's just a verse that says that if God is for you, not just will he not allow things that are against you to take you over.
Yeah.
He says, I will be with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, I will be with you both now in your current situation, but I'll also be with you in the future, in your future situations. Deuteronomy 31:8. And that Ali and I used to write down and hold on to because it was telling us God's with us now, but he's also going to be with us then.
Yeah.
And
So
if
it's
we just
gonna
hold
be
on to
okay.
his hand, we're going to end up wherever he is in the future. When he's still with us, we'll end up there. But there were moments, if I'm honest, where Ali and I we had enough and we fell asleep crying and were upset with God. And I said to Ali, I need you to pray for me. I'm struggling so badly. I'd have pain days that were so bad that I would black out or pass out from the pain. And I'd call upon God. And I said to Ali, I need you to pray. And she just said to me, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to pray for. So I said, Ali, just pray for anything. And she would literally start the prayer off by saying, God,
I don't know what to
I
pray
don't know
for.
what to pray for. That's literally how she started.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pray. I don't know what to pray for. I don't know if you're hearing us.
Yeah.
We need you. We're calling out to you.
Just be with us. Just be here.
Yeah. And that was hard. We had some very, very, very dark moments. Very dark moments.
Mike, you shared something that a lot of viewers don't know and a lot of people don't know, that you actually had that hard conversation in saying, you did not sign up for this.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is going. I'm giving you your freedom.
Yeah.
You can go.
I did.
And that is a horrible realization for me, and that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry that you even had to have that conversation. But for God,
Yeah.
you're still here. But for
Yeah.
God's
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah.
The verse that comes to mind is that no weapon formed against us shall
Yes.
prosper.
Yes.
What the enemy meant for evil, God
Yeah,
will
will use
bring
for
for
good.
good.
Yeah,
He will
that's
use
good.
it for good. And also, the years that the locust has stolen,
Yes.
He will restore
Amen.
Yeah.
the years
Come on.
Yeah.
the locusts have stolen.
Yeah.
Mike, so where you right now? You
Well-
had, and thank you for your update on social media, keeping us informed.
Yeah.
And I knew that when you went off the grid, things are not going well.
Yeah.
And we would just pray
Awesome.
for whatever you were going through.
Thank you.
And then I remember getting feedback that you met this unique specialist.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Somehow, every doctor in the sort of the Cape Peninsula did not want to touch me. My pain specialist, who was one of our doctors on board that implanted the device in my body, he was one of the guys that sort of walked the largest part of our journey.
Yeah.
And he got to the point where he was at his end. He had no idea what to do next. So he said he's going to try and find a cardiothoracic surgeon who is willing to maybe look at the nerves and do something. And he went doctor to doctor to
Yeah,
doctor.
we waited.
And
We
they
waited
just
a
said
while.
no. He gave him the case and they just said, we're not going to touch him. That's just, we can't. That's untouchable. He's not going to be able to be resolved.
This is his lot.
This is his
for
lot.
life.
And no, we can't do anything until we got to a doctor in Paul. And when she saw our case, she felt the same way. But what we didn't know was what had been prophesied over her life was that she was going to get patients to come to her, that God would send them, that no other doctor could solve, and that she would use God's strength to perform miracles. That's what was prophesied over, and we had no idea this was the case. So we went and saw her on the 15th of December on our wedding anniversary. It was the only day she could see us. And we went there and she delivered bad news. She just said, unfortunately, you want us to cut out these nerves. I can't do it. You'll take me to court and you'll win. I cannot do that. But give me some time. Let me see.
Which is so difficult. I mean, you're celebrating your 2-year wedding anniversary and you're driving back home and the tears are just streaming down your face because once again you're left with
You crushed.
You
Again.
crushed.
You crushed.
You don't have hope. Someone is telling you, I'm not going to do what you're asking me to do. And technically she told us, I don't have a way forward. So give me time. I'll see what I can do, but leave me alone. I'll come back to you if I get something.
And it's the 14th doctor, hey? The 14th specialist that we are seeing. She then organized with 2 other professionals to meet with 3 doctors and Ali and I to
your
then
dad,
talk. And my dad actually came with as well. So there's 6 of us in this little hospital room trying to talk about a plan. And all those other 2 doctors were worried about was the strength of my medication, that they were so scared one night I will take it and I just won't wake up, because that's what it does. Yeah. And even when I used to give my script into the pharmacist used to say, we're not giving you this medication because you're going to die. It's going to be on our watch. And I had to let them call the doctor, let them understand everything. So everything at that moment just seemed like we can't increase the doses of medication, which I need to help me with the pain. So we can't. The medication is not working.
They
There's
can't
no
operate.
doctors. We feel like God's far from us. Now we're holding on to verses, holding on to prayer, having our community. And we get to the point where the doctor gives us a call. And she said, the other 2 doctors that you met with wants nothing to do with this. But I want to have an operation to see what we can see what's going on. And I said to her, what are we doing? And she said, just trust me. So I said, it was the first time out of 6, I had 6 operations in the span of 18 months. I had 6 operations. The 6th one, I went in there. I'm sitting at the bed on the day of my surgery, not knowing what's going to happen. And this doctor walks in and she closes the curtain and she says to me, I need you to understand something. I'm a big Christian. I believe in God and I believe that He moves. I believe that He sends me patients and that every difficult case I get, I tell my pastor prays for you. I tell my husband and they lay hands on my hands. And I believe today that God's going to perform a miracle. The only requirement I give to you is that you cannot thank me more than once. You can say thank you once, but the rest of the time, God gets all the glory. So,
She
Wow.
kind of said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I trust that today you will receive healing and you can thank me once and not again.
I sat there and I started crying. She grabbed my hand, we prayed together, and as she left, I accidentally touched my phone and opened up a music app that played a song I've never heard in my life before, titled To God Be All the Glory. And I literally just sat there listening to the song, crying.
After her just saying,
to God be all the glory. I just started crying. She went in, collapsed my lung in the operation, and after about 4 or 5 hours, she found exactly what was wrong, which no other doctor could have seen. She saw tissue basically connecting my nerves to my heart and my lungs, and that's why every time I breathed or my heart beat, it pulled on those nerves, and that's why I was in pain all the time. So she severed those connections. I came out of theater and I was in a terrible amount of pain. The recovery was very, very difficult. But where I am now is after that moment, the pain that I had felt is gone. It's gone.
Yeah, completely gone.
We've had now a couple of months of
Pain-free body.
Yeah, but can I just say, just to be real and to be honest, that has happened before. No, getting to the hospital and Michael telling me the pain is gone has happened a year before. Mm-hmm. And then after 6 months, the pain came back. So for me to hear that the pain is gone, I'm relieved, and yes, I am fearful at the same time. And the days to come after this, I have to constantly remind myself, it is done. The pain is gone. God has healed Michael, and Michael is whole.
And put the negative out of my head.
Yes, exactly. And still today, I mean, it's been 5 or 6 months after the operation, and I still sometimes have to remind myself that he is healed and he is whole. But we are living in the promise, and we are living in the miracle of God still heals. And whether you get healed on earth or whether you get healed in heaven, God still heals. And we were blessed to get healed on earth.
Yeah.
Amen.
So now we just at the
as we wrap up, the conclusion.
The conclusion is just that at the moment we got to get off all that medication that I was on. Yeah. And I wanted to just stop, but we can't, unfortunately.
It's a weaning
long 5-month process to get off it. But we've got about another month or so left getting off it. And then we can start trying to get fit and healthy and hopefully back to work by the end of the year. That's our
So Michael, the prayer request, the prayer needs continues.
Yeah.
You need a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need finances. You need to recover from lots of brokenness.
Yeah, rebuild.
And so we continue to pray for both you and both for Ali. And you're still here, happily ever after.
Yeah.
The journey was worth it, Ali.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for Mike and I, if this changed nothing about our life, if it just encourages one person, then this was enough for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we live for Jesus. Mm-hmm. We live for His kingdom. We live for the church. And so that's our biggest hope and our biggest wish is that, someone would come to Jesus through our story.
I love that. So it's a testimony.
Yeah.
That's it.
And 100%. To God be the glory.
Yes.
Michael, thank you for coming to share your part. Michael and Ali together, thank you for sharing your story. It's a story of hope.
Yeah.
And we live in hope, and hope has a name.
That's it.
Yeah.
And His name is
Jesus.
Amen.
Come on.
If you enjoyed this episode, won't you please like, share, and subscribe? And we'll see you next time on the set of My Story.